Welcome back to Through It All. I've Got You with Mark and Sharanda. We're on episode 4, and we're going to talk a little bit about time apart. I guess after this, we need to spend some time apart after this episode.
Yes, I'm going to book me to travel and go somewhere.
That's nice. Where you plan on going?
I don't know. Probably somewhere in the Caribbean. You know, it's always beautiful.
You know, we have a trip coming up. And,
I know, but this would be a quick little trip, time apart. So.
well, it's a lot of hurricanes. You may want to wait.
Oh, okay. I'll wait then. I'll
Okay.
wait till our big trip in September.
All right. Well, I'll book me some time to go then.
Okay.
I don't have to go to the Caribbean. I'll go to a golf resort somewhere. And,
Oh, that'd be nice.
yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. I'll let you come on the third day. Dress up and drive the cart.
Okay.
I
That'll
appreciate.
be fine.
Yeah, that'll help me play a little bit better. I want to finish my round a lot sooner so I can
Okay.
enjoy you.
Carry on.
All right, sorry. Glad you're still joining us and looking forward to more episodes of Through It All. I've Got You with Mark and Sharanda. Today we're going to talk a little bit about time apart in a relationship and how important that is, and some of the benefits that come from spending time apart, and how you can really help the relationship when you do that. And there's many ways and many benefits from coming from that. Sharanda, what are we going to talk about next week?
Next time, we're going to talk about when disagreements happen.
So time apart may lead directly to
It
a
would help
disagreement.
with those disagreements.
It can help with those disagreements. Maybe if you're starting to disagree a lot, you may need to spend some time apart.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully the time apart leads to less disagreements. You never know. This isn't in any particular order.
It's not.
I just wanted to hit some topics that you're going to go through. It doesn't matter how long, how short. These are some things that you'll go through in your relationship with each other. We're going to spend some time talking a little bit about some of the things that we've experienced in our 21 years married, but that'll make it 28 together.
Mm-hmm.
Had to do some quick math there.
Yep.
And some of the benefits we've had because of all the different topics we're talking about. I'll take a little stroll back in our relationship. Being together all the time can just naturally cause anxiety. It could cause frustration. You know, if you're in a routine all the time, you can get bored with the routine, and that could lead to you having some outbursts with your spouse, significant other, person you're dating. And time apart in a relationship tends to help that. So as I talked about taking a trip back, when I look back at our early years of marriage, we, just because of the nature of work, I traveled quite a bit throughout our entire marriage, quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember when we had Bryce, it wasn't 2 days later, the company asked me to go on the road. They said, hey, we need you to take a 5-day trip. And I wasn't happy about that at all. I wanted to be home at that time. There's times when I want to leave. But I wanted to be home when we had our son. And I reached out to him. I said, wait a minute. We just had our son 2 days ago. And their response was, she had the baby, right? Yeah, that's biologically, she had to have the baby. And, you know, we talked, just the employer, we talked about, you know, what are you going to do? And I said, well, you know, her mom will be up to help us out. And they were like, well, her mom's there to help, right? I was like, yeah, but what does that have to do with me? We would need you on the road. And I just wasn't happy about it. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember.
Now, I needed the job. Begrudgingly, I went. But I told them, I said, listen, hey, I'm not going to, I need to find another role within the company, because what I don't want is my child to think I'm a telephone and see me in person. I'm like, no, that's not my dad. My dad's a phone. When we did that, they actually made a way for me to have another role in the company. So I, expressed that, and they were able to bend towards that.
Right. We didn't have FaceTime and Zoom.
We had none of that.
Back then, so we couldn't do those things. We just talked on the phone. He just heard your voice.
That was it. And so I was scared he was going to think I was a phone and not a person.
Right.
But I remember as I traveled, we had to adjust how we dealt with each other. Our conversations became more in depth. I remember us talking through that and what that would look like, that time apart would look like. And the one thing I do remember is that when I got back, whatever trip I took, it wasn't that you were at the door and handed me the baby, but you made sure that I pitched in
Oh yeah.
pretty quickly
Oh yeah.
upon arriving. And
Absolutely. All hands on deck.
all hands on deck. Yeah, you were traveling. Yeah, nice, good.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I've been here,
That's right. With this baby.
and I need you to step up and help. And you didn't have to ask me,
No.
really. I mean, it was something I wanted to do. I wanted to spend the time, and I know you needed that break. So that's just an example I remember early on that we didn't really have a struggle with that. I don't think that was a big pain point. Would you say?
No, I don't think so.
Good.
Yeah. You're pretty good about that. Pretty hands on. Because I think you knew as a father what a mother went through, especially with a newborn, lack of sleep, getting up and not having you here. Because when you were here, you did get up with me. You would change, the pamper or whatever while I prepared to breastfeed. But you did majority of the time. You got up when I got up.
I remember even during the pregnancy, you changed like how our bed was situated. You would have to get out of the bed, walk around the bed to go to the bathroom. And I said, hey, I'm going to let you, because you would wake me up. Hey, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I was doing that just in case something happened. You didn't hear me because you sleep really hard.
I didn't believe me. I thought you
So
was
I just want to let you know, like, hey, if I'm not back, a certain amount of minutes, whatever, I was in the bathroom, something happened.
I felt like you just wanted me to experience the sleeplessness that you were going through.
I did not.
And so I said, hey, you take this side of the bed closer to the bathroom. That way you can it's an easier path. You ain't got to walk around. And
We did. We switched sides.
we switched sides, and you still, hey, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm like, what the? I wanted you to have your time. But nevertheless, it worked out. That's just some examples of, it's not really time apart, but just giving you some funny things that have happened in this maturation of a marriage. More specifically with time apart, there's some things, and I looked up some things, and some of these things apply, and they really make sense as you look at it. And even before we would jump into that, let me mention this, and you don't know what I'm about to say. Yesterday we were at church, and the pastor was talking about something, and he talked about what you don't have as opposed to what you do have, and he talked about the 80-20 rule. And you hear that quite a bit. No one will give you 100% of what you need, because people are flawed. We are all flawed. We are not perfect. That 20% that people have left marriages for, left relationships for, they think they're going to get that 100 and that they'll never get it. And it's typically you'll get that 20, and you're even worse off than you are with that person that gives you 80% of what you need. And some of that is, as he was talking yesterday, it was you having a lack of peace about yourself to understand that no matter, that person should not be able to give you everything you need. You have to be able to give yourself
right.
some of the things you need. And so the reason I mention that is I remember years ago I would travel out the country, and this was before we were married, but I just distinctly remember this. One time I traveled to Brazil for a while, and I met some gentlemen, and again, we weren't married at the time, we were just dating, but I met some guys that when you're in a different country, you hear your native tongue speak, you gravitate to them. I heard in the hotel, I heard some guys speaking English, and I was like, hey, what's up? And we ended up hanging out for almost the entire time I was there. Well, the reason I bring this up is something that one or two of the guys said, and I completely disagreed with him. Even being single, I disagreed, and he was like, listen, when I'm away, I'm no longer married. And he even said, I'm on another continent. I'm not married on this continent. I was like, oh. I said, then why are you married if you feel that way when you're apart, that you can just go
do what you want to
do what you want to do and act like you're not married, take off the ring? And I was like, I don't think that's what time apart is meant for. And I distinctly remember saying, hey, listen, if I get married and when I get married, that is not the way I want to treat time apart, time in a new country, on a new continent. That's just not what it's meant for, is to go out there and wild out and try to live
He was like, hey, time to party.
Time to get it in. this is not what we're talking about when we
No.
talk about time apart.
No.
Now, getting it in could be something where you're doing something, an activity or things like this. They were talking about something different getting in
Right.
in Brazil. So just wanted to mention that. And I thought about that with that 80-20. I'm like, they were looking for something that obviously they thought they needed. And it's not somewhere else. It's inside. And I would gauge that whatever that you're looking for, if you allow your spouse to know what that is, they're going to help you.
Yeah.
They're
Absolutely.
going to meet you there.
Yep.
As we jump into this now, so time apart in a relationship, what does that mean? Right. And I'm going to read a little bit, but this is going to be more of a discussion. But I did take some time and looked at this, and then I'll sum it up. Even in a great relationship, your interests and goals, sometimes they diverge, right? They change. They're not the same. They don't match. There's things you're interested in that I may not be as interested in. This person talked about a time where their sister went to India for a week by themselves, and they left the husband and the children at home. They both got out of the trip was the wife that went to India got a chance to just woosah, just be her, not have to worry about her children, not have to worry about her husband, house things, just just do her. And what the husband got was a deeper understanding of what his wife went through at home, caring for the kids or being the primary. I don't know if she worked or not, but he got a deeper understanding of her role in the marriage and the relationship, and came to appreciate her even more, knowing that he had it all on his shoulders. That's what time apart can do. It can give you perspective. You want to chime in a little bit on that?
Yeah, I think when you're apart, it can help you, think about some things, whether good or bad, whether you're in a good spot, bad spot, but, just give you clarity, and it will help you appreciate, what you have. And this year, I got to experience that for the first time in March. I got to go on a trip by myself. I've never been out the country without you. And so I was like, I wouldn't say nervous, but I was just like, wow, this is the first time, on a trip without you, especially out the country. And so it just really made me sit back and think, about what we have and the relationship that we have. And it was good, to get away and just sit and relax, but also think about what we have.
That's right. And I was happy that you got a chance to go, except when you kept calling me from the beach. I was like, man, I want to be there. I had to go to work. But I was happy that you got that time to go and hang out with your girlfriends and just do your own thing. It brought me joy. I understand what it's like at the house. At this time we didn't have any kids here.
Yeah.
And so I enjoyed the peace here. I got a chance just to be me too. Do what I wanted to do. If I wanted to do something, I didn't. Not that I can't do that now. Our relationship is we don't have to ask permission to do things. There's enough trust to do what you do.
I'm not clocking Mark. Like,
No.
where you going? What you doing? What time are you coming back? He'd be like, babe, I'm running here. I'm like, okay.
I'm the same way with you. Pick me up something on the way back if you can.
Yeah, that's the only time I ask, like, where you going? And sometimes I might want to ride with him, sometimes not, but we have trust in each other. So it's not like, we have to question each other. So, yeah.
That's a big part of this is, do you trust? Because some of those questions may come when you say clocking it, when that person is checking, maybe there's a trust issue that they need to make sure that you're coming straight back, because it could have been history.
Right.
Or it could be something that they see that they feel like a need to do that. But if you can get to that place where you trust your partner, you always hear, I got to check with the old lady before I can go anywhere. Guys say that all the time. I got to check with the ball and chain. I don't know who would want to be in a relationship like that. That would be exhausting to not have the trust to do things alike, do things apart. And this is what this was talking about a little bit, that you don't have to necessarily bring that person on board to your interests all the time. Mm-hmm. You don't have to have them be interested in the same thing. It is good that they have other interests outside of what your interests are, because then that gives you a talking point to, hey, tell me about that. And you may grow fond of it, you may not, and that is okay.
Yeah, because times you go, be like, hey, me and my friends, guy friends, we're gonna go to the gun range. I'll be like, deuces, have fun. Sometimes I want to go. Sometimes when you with your guy friends, I don't want to go. But we'll do it together sometimes, and sometimes you're like, me and the boys gonna go. I'm like, okay, have fun.
I enjoy the fact that you said, "Do we got enough ammo?" I was like, "Oh no, actually we don't. We can get some more. Make you feel comfortable just in case zombies come."
Yep.
And then we'll need to be together to make sure that we get all the zombies. Here's some specific things as you think about time apart that we talked about last week, that absence can make the heart grow fonder. And I agree with that. There are times, all kind of times now, that when I leave, even if it's for 2 days, I'm telling you, I'm missing you on the airplane. I'm missing you when I get to the hotel.
Yep.
And then, you're doing the same thing. But when you're happier, and sometimes time to yourself can make you happier, you'll have more energy to invest in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
When you miss that person, you will invest more in the relationship because you do realize what you have and that you have something that is good. You'll appreciate the task your partner does if you're the one that's staying. Even if there's no kids, there's things that have to get done, whether it's that person cooks, cleans, makes up the bed, blah, 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 whatever it is, helps with the laundry. That person is gone for an extended period of time and this stuff has to get done.
Yep.
You'll appreciate them, that they pick up that part of the load. And then it'll help you start to do it more because you see that, hey, I can take this load off of my partner. And with that, you'll gain new skills, something that you couldn't do before. You'll learn how to do it out of necessity. Something else about, spending time apart is changing your routine. It helps you develop new routines because you doing the same thing over and over every day can become mundane. So when you're apart, you'll have to do things. You'll have to adjust,
right,
and do things differently.
Mm-hmm.
What are some things you'll have to do when I'm gone? Because I may travel for 5 days and home for the weekend, and 5 days and home for the weekend. Anything different that you have to do when I'm gone?
Just take out the trash.
Oh, you don't enjoy that. I know you don't enjoy that.
It really doesn't bother me because I'll do it, but I'll do the trash. I don't have to worry about the lawn because usually you try to do it before you leave, and so you'll do it when you come back. Not much I have to really worry about, or
you don't check the ammo.
No, I don't need to check that.
Oh, okay, I'm just checking
because we still have a lot.
Okay, we got enough, or we need to get.
We need to get some more.
I'm good with that. I'll be back. We'll have to spend some time alone while I go get some more ammo. Some others, if you have children, the kids benefit, right? So you get a different routine. Now, I see a lot of crazy stuff. You see it on Instagram. Difference when the kid is just with mom or the kid is just with dad. When they're just with dad, more injuries probably occur. Stuff may get broken. More things are tried. I think that's a father's role, is to stretch the kids in their comfort zone. It's our role to injure kids in small injuries. That's a dad's role, is to do those things. But the kids benefit, right? They get a different view, a different pace. The other things that you'll get is you understand how your partner's presence affects you. Them in the house it's going to affect you one way or the other, and them being gone, or you on the road. I know I get tired of dinner for one sometime on the road, and so I'll just eat in the hotel room, which will give you even more time to think, I wish my spouse was here, or I wish I was home. But again, that fondness continues to grow. You'll watch something on TV, and be like, man, I'm just thinking about them now.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll make you eager to come home, and when you come home after being gone so long, there's not a lot of conversation, so there's not a lot of time to fuss and fight because you're not talking as much because you're happy to see each other.
Right. I think earlier on when you used to travel a lot, I think I wasn't mad, I guess because our children were younger and it was a lot. So I think it's different now, as they got older.
What, you're madder now?
No, I can appreciate it more.
Elaborate some more.
No.
I'm trying to follow you.
You're trying to follow?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Because, and I know you had to go for work, but it was like, okay, you had to go for work, but also we got these kids. Like, they were little. We had 3. One was in middle school at the time and two little ones, and it was like you were gone. You know, yeah, I missed you, but also it was like, okay, like
Need you to get
just
these
traveling.
kids.
Yeah.
I get it. Like you getting out of this work.
Right. I was like, and I thought about it like that. I was like, hi, he gets to get off scot free, and here I am with these kids. But I know you had to go for work, and I know you could. I never wanted you to quit your job or anything like that. But, you know,
That's a good point. I mean, if you control your schedule, are you trying to get out of stuff at home just because you can? I think your spouse will pick up on that. So I'm sick of these kids. Let me schedule me a 2-week trip across the country, and I can't come back on the weekend. It's how the flights work out. I just got to stay. And you happen to take your golf bag or your whatever you do, tennis, whatever you do. You happen to take that. I think your spouse will probably be on to that pretty quick. And you come back 2 weeks later. Hey, I got to get back out there. I'll get the diapers, but I got to get back out there. So that'll be tough. Be mindful of that because you're leaving that person back there, especially when there's a lot going on. You want to be mindful of that. I know when you travel a lot too, you discover whoever it is, you'll discover new ways to get things done. You may become more proficient or efficient in certain things because you don't have that help. So you'll figure out how to do things more because they're gone. Another way of looking at it is when you're gone or whoever is back, that person gets to pursue their interests even more. They may be less likely to stay in the house and get out a little bit more. I know you've started doing things more at sports things. So look at this. You know, before you wouldn't even go outside. And now you're out playing volleyball and doing things. And I enjoy it. Now I get to come watch you. And sometimes I don't want to go. And that's okay. Sometimes you may not be happy that I didn't want to go.
you only went once. Came once to my volleyball game.
I think I was traveling the rest of the time.
You were not.
I came one time.
You was here enjoying your time apart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
How'd that make you feel? Now we're talking about it. How did it make you feel?
I
Was you
didn't
mad?
like it because I support you and your things.
But I came.
One.
I got to do
When you
better.
played basketball, how many did I miss?
I can't recall. Okay, that's a little guilt. A little guilt. I get it. I'll work on that. You gonna play again?
Maybe. I don't know yet.
I'll come more. I'll have to bring my chair. Come
We'll
out and
see.
share. Another one that this article talked about is you can experiment without fear of criticism. No one's here to say anything. You might just try all kind of stuff. So I think that's what that means is, or maybe someone is extra critical in the relationship and that person doesn't want to try new things. And it may not apply at all. But I think, you know, if no one's here, you'll try things. Just see how it goes.
Or you think when it says for the fear of criticism, you think they're doing it because of another reason and scared. Oh, you're just doing it because of X, Y, Z, maybe.
Could be. It also talked about spending time with other people can be enriching. I agree with that. As you expand your network, expand your sphere of influence, other people can give you other perspectives. I remember even today I was having a conversation with someone at work and they gave me a different perspective and I appreciated their perspective. And they said it in such a way that it wasn't, I mean, this person, I don't have a problem how they come off because I know at the core, they mean me good, but they gave me a different, and they kind of preface it. Hey, I'm telling you this not to be overcritical, but I just want you to take a view. I was like, you don't have to preface it. Let's just say it for what it is.
Right.
And he gave me a really good viewpoint. But again, that's from being around different people. It gives you a different viewpoint, and it can be very enriching when people can speak into you that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, changing your modes of communication can improve your conversation. This is a whole big thing. But, you know, when you have to talk on the phone more and maybe you don't have as much time because of travel, it'll just, you have to change your routine, which gives you a different way of having to do things. So again, this is just benefits of being apart. I know a lot of times if we're texting, if I'm traveling or if I'm somewhere and I can't talk on the phone, we're texting and then we'll have some fun with the text messages.
Yeah.
So those are just different ways that can help improve your communication and your conversations. It also talked about having time to clear your head.
And that comes when the disagreements. You need that time apart to think about, okay.
Is that preceded with a slam of the door and I'm out? I'm gonna just drive for a little bit and clear my head.
The drive can help.
The drive can help.
The drive can help.
And sometimes that's the most important thing is that, hey, let me go and get this time apart before I say something crazy. Before you say something crazy. Clearing your head is important.
It is.
Even time apart, you'll have time to think through problems. Because you have that time where you're not necessarily in front of your spouse, in front of your partner, you're just thinking through scenarios and problems and talking it through, and then you may run it past them when you have that opportunity. But it does give you time to think through problems in a different way.
It does.
When you're not around a person.
When you travel and something has happened or something happens while you're gone, I know for me, it gives me time to think about, okay, let me send this text. I think I write things down better or text better instead of verbalizing it, I guess. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember even a trip I took not too long ago. It wasn't an issue with us or anything, but it was something at the house. We had something going on with one of the sockets. And so I happened to be around some people that were electricians and had some electrical knowledge. And I brought up the problem to them. I said, hey, this is something I'm having. And again, this is just a situation where I'm around someone that I'm not normally around. They have a skill. And so I said, hey, can you help me with this? And they drew a diagram and helped me out and didn't need an electrician. Came home and fixed it. Now, the other problem I couldn't fix, I needed that plumber. Even if I would have talked to a plumber, I was like, nah, this is past my scope. But again, that's just being around different people that have different skill sets that helped a situation at home. And even when you're around other married people outside of with your spouse being there, you may have different conversations that can help you. It can also reveal that you're wrong. Sometime if you can be honest with the conversation, a lot of times we kind of give it from our perspective. That's natural, but if you can try to give a total picture and let that person give you a total answer back, they could reveal that you ain't always right because you can't be.
Right.
So those are just some of the things I think when you think about time apart, it's not necessarily punitive. It's not a punishment when you spend time apart. It can really help the relationship because even the most loving couple being under each other too much can smother you in a bad way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know not to be negative, but sometimes people want that time apart because they don't want to be around that person. So hopefully when they're feeling that way, hopefully some feelings will come like, hey, I actually really do love this person or want to be with this person.
Yeah, I mean, it helps you understand their needs, their perspective, their feelings. It can help you not realize that they're not so bad. Even in the moment, you can think, I just got to get away. But it can, it'll deepen your connection when you get that time apart. And whether it's planned, unplanned, I encourage you to spend time with your counterparts. You get different perspective. You can let your hair down for those that have it. You can just not have those worries over you.
Right.
It's just healthy to spend time apart, and having different hobbies, as we talked about earlier, just helps you bring those things back to the relationship, and you're better for it when you can bring other perspectives and other ideas, solutions to the relationship.
Yeah, because we can get on each other's nerve.
Say that again. You get on your own self-nerve sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're getting on somebody else's nerve. And when you feel it, you got to be able to say it.
Right.
But just say, I'm a dip for a little bit. Cause and it might not even be their fault. It might just be something that happened to you.
Right.
It could be just anything. It could be you talk to your sibling and now you're mad. And then that projects onto your spouse.
Yeah.
And then now they like, listen, I ain't do it to you. You need to go on somewhere. You need to go and work it out and then come back. Right. And that's maturity when you realize that you're not necessarily the cause, but you're getting the effect.
Not the culprit.
You're not. Yeah, you ain't do it, but you can feel it. And I remember asking you sometime like, what you mad at? I'm like, you don't have to come at me with that energy. I said that the other day. I was like, hey, why are you giving me that energy? I said, why are you talking to me like that? And I'm frustrated. I was like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and dip for a little bit because I'm gonna let you work that out. Because then you know what'll happen. Your frustration become my frustration. Yep. And then now we both frustrated at something that neither one of us had anything to do with, but because that energy
Jumping on the bandwagon.
Jumping on the bandwagon. It reminds me of Caesar Milan. He talking about a good owner, a bad owner. Like the dogs can feel. I ain't calling you a dog, but the pets can feel your energy, and then that energy rubs off on them. It's true. Your energy can rub off, and you got to be grown enough to say, let me get up out of here, or you need to get up out of here. We got one car. You go ahead and take it. I'm good. Well, I'm gonna go take a walk around the block and give you. Do I need to take 2 laps, 3 laps? Let me go into the other side of the house. We go outside. Whatever you need to do. Don't think that time apart is a bad thing.
Right.
So I mean, even build in time apart if you have to. You know, if your schedules are so hectic. But make sure, you know, one thing I would say is make sure that you don't leave a burden back on that person if you are the one leaving. Try not to leave things in a mess, right? Because that's not gonna help the situation. Where the time apart was meant to be helpful, you left a mess. You left clothes, dishes,
just
stuff just everywhere. That person, more likely than not, are not gonna. That's not gonna make you comfortable when you're left at the house.
They're not gonna enjoy their time apart.
No, because they're gonna have to clean it up first, and then they're gonna be resentful at you.
Yep,
Such and such, such gonna leave me with all this stuff, and they just dip. Now, if something happened in a rush and you got to go, that's different. But if you know you about to take a trip with the the guys or the girls,
or for work,
whatever it is, try to leave it in a better place. You know, when I coached basketball, I stole this from one of the coaches. He always had a saying of make it like you weren't ever there. And he talked about when we travel, wherever you went, make it like you were never there. So try to leave it better than when you got there.
That's right.
And that's something you try to do, because you don't want to leave something on your spouse. I mean, I don't want to leave anything on you that's worse than where I got it. You know what I mean? Right. I want you happy. I want you fulfilled. I want you all those things, with me or without me being there. I want you happy.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what you want too, right?
Exactly.
Okay, you didn't say it.
I said it.
You said appreciate it. You didn't say I want to do the same for you.
But I always do.
You do. I mean, man, I'm telling y'all right now, I got a good one. This woman will leave. She will make meals, and I can cook. Right? I'm not her. She cooks better than me, but I can cook. She will leave meals. I call it my ram in the bush. She will leave rams in the bushes. She'll leave frozen food that she cooked and left it for me. And you think I'm going somewhere? Through it all, I've got this one. Not everyone will do that. And if you don't do that, maybe that's something you do, right? That I'm telling you that spouse will appreciate it. I need to get back to doing this, but I remember I used to, I went through a period where I was leaving sticky notes.
Yes.
So if I was leaving and you weren't home when I had to leave, I would write sticky notes and leave them in different places around the house. And I'm hoping that you wouldn't find them all in a day, but I think you... Did you start searching for them after?
I did not. I think the last time you left, and you left them in the various places where I go. You just happened to leave them all where I went that day.
Yeah, I did want to make sure that you saw them, so I did leave them in places. I know you hit all the spots.
I hit all the spots that day.
You did. You hit all the spots, but I can just remember the response, and you told me how much you appreciated that, and I felt good that it brought you a smile, that it made you. I didn't want you to miss me more, but I wanted you to miss me more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trust me, I wanted to get back to you as quick as possible, knowing that you appreciated it, and
I did.
That was my attempt at a ram in the bush.
You brought tears to my eyes.
Well, I'm glad.
I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it now.
Well, those are good tears. Those are good tears. And you know, I used to leave notes for the boys, for the girl when I traveled. You know, I would text them, "Hey, I'm on the plane." Just little things to try to stay connected. And that's the last point I'll mention is you know, even when you do travel, those small connection points, even if you know you're working or you're on a trip with your friends, that small text, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," will go a long way. When you were out of the country, you would shoot me a note, and I appreciated that. You know, I wanted you to do you, but you still found time to think about me, and I definitely appreciate that.
But even the kids, thought about them too. Was texting them, calling them.
I don't call them as much. as you do. I think about them, but you know, it's more you. But however you do it, you do it. Just remember that, you know, time apart, it is a good thing. The may vary, but you have to have your own interests. You have to have your own.
You're your own person.
You're your own person. Before you came into this marriage,
Yeah.
you're your own person.
You're your own person.
And you need to bring that person into the marriage and enrich and be enriched by the other person. And one other thing I mentioned, I saw this I think it was on Instagram, where it was a couple, but this can apply to even outside of kids, pets, anything. The pastor said, I want you all to stand beside each other. And he's talking to the wife, husband, and the kids. And the kids ended up standing in between the husband and wife. You know, and that's just natural, where you put your kids in between you. Mm-hmm. And he said, wrong. And they were looking, and they started to try to shift. He said, no, stay there. And he said, marriage, God's plan for marriage was never meant to put the children in between you all. He said, husband and wife, you are joined together. Now, mm-hmm. Even when the kids come, the pets come, whatever, because like I said, everybody that have kids, they are beside you all, but they are not in between you all. And that hit home so much, because for those that have children, will have children, you hope that those children will leave at some point. They will leave. And if the children were the center or the reason for the success of the marriage when they go, it could cause it not to be successful. And so you have to understand that children, time apart, all those things are meant to enhance, but they are not meant to put a division in between your marriage. And I just really like that example, how he brought that out, and they just naturally put the kids in between them. And we probably would have done that too. No, I don't think we would have, because I'm trying to sneak a field or something. I try to do that all the time. But even if we would have, I don't think we would have thought we know that it's us. I mean, I won't get into this now, but I'll say it at a high level, because I want this to be a part of our topics. I remember as we got married, you made it very clear to someone that they were not coming in between our marriage.
Yep.
Very clear. And I appreciated that. And it showed that
this blended family.
Our blended family. You made it known that this is our union, and you all will be a beneficiary of our union, but you won't be the center of our union, because right. We are the center of our union. And it's not to diminish them, it's not to anything, but they have a place. Everyone outside of your union has a place.
Yes. Time and a place.
Time and a place. And whether you're apart, whether you're together, that union is still the same. And that's why I said I never agree with those guys. And I wasn't married at the time. I was like, that's not what marriage looks like. That's not marriage. It shouldn't be that way. We hope that you got something out of this, that time apart is healthy, it's necessary. And I wouldn't include just going to work and coming back. That's not time apart. Because you got to go to work unless you work together. That's not time apart. Okay. Make sure that you're helping one another. Don't put everything on one. Schedule time apart. It's important. It helps you grow. Anything you want to say as we close this out? Nope. About time apart? Please, if you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe and share and hit that bell to get notifications. If you're listening on a podcast, make sure you subscribe and share. That way when we drop a new episode, that you're getting notified. And it's not really who we share it with, it's who they share it with. We want to be a blessing to those that are in marriage. We want to be a blessing to those that want to get married, that are in relationships. That's what this is about. That no matter what you go through, you can make it.
You can make it.
You can make it. So until next time on Through It All with Mark and Sharanda, thank you for tuning in. Have a good evening.
Good evening.